Hello friends, welcome to Insight Learners. So in this video we shall discuss the CodeRush coding challenges. So the questions that were asked on November 27th. So the next coding challenge, it will be in the next month, that is December, so maybe 27. So you can just register and take the coding challenge. So this will be advantage, like if you solve more than 4, like there will be 6 coding questions. So if you solve at least 4 coding questions and some of the test cases, like if you touch all the 6 coding questions and if you pass some of the test cases, so you'll be shortlisted by some of the companies and they'll directly contact you for the further rounds. So don't miss this coding challenge, you can just take the coding challenge. So the duration of the coding challenge, so it is 3 hours. So these were the 6 questions that was asked in the coding challenge that is conducted by the CodeRush by Newton's. So the first coding question, it was on Droid's deliberate challenge, and the second one ant tuples, and the third one digit distancing, and the fourth one Spongebob's grid game, and the fifth one Dijkstra's, and the last was the star power. So we shall quickly see one by one. The first coding challenge, it was the Droid's deliberate journey. So it was conducted with the CodeRush now on November 2023, that is on 27th of November. So the problem statement is like the droid, the robot, embarks on a journey commencing from the origin O to O of a two-dimensional plane. So the path is dictated by the sequence of commands. So the commands, in the sense, there is a string where each character, it corresponds to a specific moment. So L, D, R, U are the 4 commands, or you can say it's a string. So L represents the left position, and D represents the down, R represents the right position, and U the up position. And for each of this string there is a separate movement. So L moves from the position I to J to I minus 1 to J, and R moves from the position I comma J to I plus 1 comma J, and the D, that is the down, it moves from position I comma J to I comma J minus 1, and U move from the position I comma J, that is the initial position, to I comma J plus 1. So the droid, he follows each of the command in the given sequence, like whatever movement or the sequence they have mentioned, so he need to follow each of these commands in the proper sequence. And the task is, you need to find the final position after executing the entire sequence of commands. So you need to move all the string based on the position or the movement they have mentioned or the sequence, and you need to find, or you need to determine the final position, like what is the position after executing the sequence of commands in the movement they have mentioned. So these are the input and the output which they have given. So input means the first line, which it contains the number of commands, that is, so you can see the 5, because like input the number of commands n, it is 5, that is they have given the 5 string of characters. And the next line, it contains the string s of length n. So L, D, U, 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 this is the string they have given, and which represents the command in the order, and s is composed of only the letters L, R, U as well as D. S, in the sense, the string, it is composed of 4 letters, that is L left, R is right, U is up, and D is down. So it is composed of these characters, and they have mentioned the sequence, and you need to calculate the final position, like what will be the final position after executing the sequence of commands. So they have mentioned constants also, and output is that integer x and y, where x comma y represents the final position of the droid after executing all the n commands. So you need to calculate the final position of the droid. So they have also mentioned like what is the position in which it moves from origin, everything they have mentioned. So you need to clear all the test cases for this. So this is about the first problem statement, and the second problem statement, that is ant tuples. So the n tuple of n negative integers like a1 to an, for which the bitwise AND of elements is 0, and each element is less than 2m, which is called a special tuple. So these are the sequence they have mentioned, like a1, a2, a3, like 0 less than equal to a1, a2 up to an position, and which is less than 2m. and where an is 0. So they have given integers n and m, and you need to count the number of special tuples. So each element less than 2m, it is called a special tuple. So your task is that you need to count the number of special tuples. So input is that the first line of input, it contains a single integer. So this is the input, that is 3, and the next t line contains two integers each n and m for a particular test cases. And these are the constants they have mentioned, the range for n as well as m, and you need to output the output should be, you need to count the number of the special tuples. Output like the t space separated integers in a single line, the ith one being the answer to ith test case. So they have given the input sequence and like what should be the output, and they also explained it like how the output goes and everything. So you can just go through it. So this is the second problem statement and tuple, and the third one is the digit distancing. So given an integer n and a particular digit d, so you need to determine the smallest positive integer x that you can add to n such that the resulting value does not contain the digit d. So they'll give an integer n and there is a digit d. So your task is you need to find the smallest integer x in which you need to add it to n, and the result value, it shouldn't contain the digit d. So this is your task. So input is that the first line of input, it contains an integer. So here input is 2, and the next line, it contains two integer, one is n and the other one is the digit d. So 50 is n and 1 is the digit d, and this is the second one. So there will be multiple test cases and you need to clear all those. So output is that you need to determine the smallest integer, so which you need to add to n such that the result value, it does not contain the digit d. So this is the second one, third one, digit distancing problem, and the fourth one, it is the Spongebob's grid game. So the Spongebob, it's a person like he find himself standing at the origin of an infinite rectangular grid. So he can move one step at a time either towards the positive x-axis or the positive y-axis in a single move. So you can see he can move one step at a time, either he can move towards the positive x-axis or positive y-axis, that too in a single move. And you can see while a straightforward journey from the origin to any point is too simple for him, so he decides to tackle a more challenging task. Like he wants to calculate the number of ways in which he can reach any point within a specific rectangular region. So your task is like you need to find you need to calculate the number of ways, like the easiest way in which you can reach to any point within that rectangular region. So formally, like you can see, he can move from I, j to I, j plus 1 or I plus 1 to j in one step. So you need to calculate the number of ways in which he can reach to that point within that rectangular grid. So this is the task. So as there is x and y axis, so input contains the four integers like x1, y1, x2, y2, and output should be the single integer, like the smallest way in which he can reach that point within that rectangular grid. So this is the input like x1, x2, y1 and y2, and you need to calculate the number of ways, the smallest way in which he can reach to that point. So the fifth, it was the fourth problem statement, and the fifth one, it's a Dijkstra's algorithm. So there will be a connected graph which has n vertices and m bidirectional weighted edges. So the length of the path between the two vertices, it's defined as the bitwise XOR, and like Dijkstra's means you need to find the minimum length of path between the vertex 1 and the vertex n. So and the graph may contain multiple edges and loops. So the first line it contains, so input and output, first line it contains two integers n and m, and the next line contains three integers like x, y and w, which denotes the edge of the weight and w between the x. So w is the weight between the x and the y. So like the task is you need to print the single integer, that you need to find the minimum length of the path between the vertex 1 and the n. So the last coding question, it was star power. So star power in the sense you are given a tree with n vertices and which has n minus 1 edges. The distance between any two vertices, it is defined as the number of edges in the simplest path between the vertices. And there are some star nodes, like the condition is that the distance between any two star nodes, it should not exceed the distance d. So the power set of star nodes, it is defined. So star nodes means it's the sum of distances between every pair of nodes in the set. So your task is you need to find the sum of distances between every pair of nodes. Like the star node means it's a sum of distances between every pair of nodes in the set. So your task is you need to determine the maximum power of star nodes. So the first line contains three integers n, d and q, and the next n minus 1, the next line it contains two integers u and v, which represents an edge between, it represents an edge, and the next line contains q integers. So first thing, you should determine the star node, like it's the sum of distance between every pair of nodes in the set, and after that you need to find the maximum power of that star nodes for the node p. So they have given the input test cases and you need to achieve this output. So these were the 5 coding questions that was asked in the CodeRush challenge. So I will try to prepare the solution for all these 6 coding questions and I will send it in the Telegram group. So you can go through that and practice. So you can practice it for the next coding challenge, which will be conducted in the next month of December. So you can practice and give the coding test, which will be like the similar coding questions will be asked and even the coding questions may be repeated. So you can go through that and practice. Thank you friends for watching and do subscribe our channel for more updates.